Welcome to Missing Chronicles, where we delve into the heartbreaking and enigmatic mysteries surrounding disappearances. Here, we will immerse ourselves in the world of unsolved cases, thrilling search efforts, and intricate journeys. The goal of this channel is to spread awareness, foster community connections, and provide support to the families and loved ones of the missing. Join me as we embark on a suspenseful journey, hoping to uncover the truth behind these missing chronicles. Help us sustain and grow Missing Chronicles by becoming a patron on Patreon. Your contribution ensures that we can continue our investigations, share compelling stories, and work towards a world where no one is forgotten. Join us in making a lasting impact today. Unusual disappearances and the FBI's involvement, a closer look at perplexing cases. The New York State Police Special Operations Team and a team of FBI agents arrived at the scene. It is worth mentioning that the FBI often shows up at these scenes but usually stands back, observes, writes reports, and sends them to the profiling team in Virginia. They rarely get directly involved unless a crime has occurred that falls under their jurisdiction, typically involving interstate activities. However, in the cases I'm about to discuss, the FBI either became directly involved or closely monitored the investigations. These incidents, which I will present, have been extensively investigated by David Paulides, a former detective and author of the Missing 411 series. Paulides has looked into thousands of unsolved and highly unusual disappearances across America, many of which involve strange circumstances and coincidences that defy expectations. Throughout this video, you will learn about some of these cases that caught the interest of the FBI in one way or another. Let's start with the first case. On March 17, 2007, 12-year-old Michael R. Berry went missing in Doughton Park, a heavily wooded area near McGrady, North Carolina. Michael was on a camping trip with his Boy Scout troop in the wilderness of Dalton Park. On that day, Michael had slept late and found himself alone in camp with another leader, Michael Stay. While waiting for the others to return, Michael Stay and Michael R. Berry had dinner together. However, at around 3 p.m., the other Boy Scouts realized that Michael R. Berry was missing. They immediately notified the adults, and a search was initiated. During the initial search, Michael R. Berry's mess kit was found less than a mile away from the campsite. This discovery led the searchers to believe that they were getting closer to finding him. Despite the joint efforts of the National Park Service, the State Park Service, county and state personnel, and the adverse weather conditions, including heavy rain, Michael R. Berry could not be located. Surprisingly, the FBI became involved in this case, which is unusual for missing person searches. According to David Paulides, the FBI typically does not participate in searches for missing individuals unless a crime has occurred that falls within their jurisdiction, often involving interstate activities. Paulides noted that the presence of an FBI agent at the search and rescue headquarters raised questions about what they might have known that had not been disclosed to the press. After 3 days of intensive searching, Michael R. Berry was finally found near a creek, disoriented but able to communicate with the searchers. It was unclear how many days he had been out there and what had happened to him during that time. The fact that the FBI was monitoring the search raised further intrigue. Considering their usual involvement in cases with potential criminal elements, moving on to another case, on October 8, 1976, 16-year-old Trenny Lynn Gibson went missing while hiking in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park during a school trip. Trenny was part of a high school group from Burton, Tennessee, and they were hiking on the North Carolina side of the park. Trenny was last seen about half a mile from the Clingman's Dome parking area, where she disappeared under mysterious circumstances. According to witness statements, Trenny had been walking with other students before she suddenly vanished. The area where she was last seen had a well-defined trail, and it seemed unlikely that she would deviate from it willingly. Extensive search efforts were conducted, involving park rangers, authorities, and volunteers, but no trace of Trenny was found. The FBI's involvement in this case, again, raised eyebrows, as it deviated from their typical jurisdiction. The third case dates back to October 8, 1957, when 3-year-old Minnie Horn disappeared in a rural area near La Follette, Tennessee. Minnie was accompanying her mother and sisters on a walnut collecting trip near their home when she vanished. Despite immediate searches and the involvement of local authorities, no trace of Minnie could be found. The search for Minnie involved thousands of people, including sheriff deputies, state police, neighbors, and friends. The heavy rain and thunderstorms that occurred during the search further complicated the efforts. Strangely, the FBI also became involved in this case, suggesting a level of significance beyond a typical missing person investigation. Days later, Minnie's body was discovered on a ridgeline, 6 miles away from her home. The circumstances of her disappearance and the distance she had covered raised numerous questions. How did a 3-year-old manage to travel such a distance by herself? Why were there no tracks or signs of her presence along the way? The unanswered questions surrounding Minnie's case, along with the FBI's involvement, added to the perplexity of the situation. These are just a few examples of cases where the FBI's presence and interest raised eyebrows due to their usual protocol for getting involved in missing person cases. The unanswered questions, strange circumstances, and the lack of conclusive evidence in these cases continue to baffle investigators and leave room for speculation. Now, let's delve into another case that showcases the FBI's involvement in a perplexing disappearance. On June 13, 1992, 39-year-old Sarah Parker Hoggle vanished from her home in Clarksburg, Maryland. Sarah, who was diagnosed with schizophrenia, was last seen by her boyfriend, Troy Turner, who dropped her off at home after a weekend trip to the beach with their 2 young children. Troy became concerned when he couldn't reach Sarah and went to her house the next day. He found the children alone but no sign of Sarah. Troy immediately contacted the police, and an investigation was launched. Law enforcement agencies, including local police, the Montgomery County Police, and the FBI, joined forces to search for Sarah. The circumstances surrounding Sarah's disappearance were highly unusual. Not only was she diagnosed with schizophrenia, but she also had a history of erratic behavior and delusions. The investigators had to consider the possibility that Sarah had experienced a psychotic episode and wandered off, unable to find her way back home. However, there were no concrete leads or sightings of Sarah in the days and weeks that followed her disappearance. The involvement of the FBI in this case indicated a level of complexity beyond a typical missing person investigation. The FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit, BAU, was consulted to provide insights into Sarah's mental state and potential behavioral patterns. The BAU's expertise in profiling and understanding the minds of individuals with mental health issues proved invaluable in guiding the investigation. Despite extensive searches, including aerial searches, ground searches, and door-to-door inquiries, Sarah Parker Hoggle remains missing to this day. The case took an even more puzzling turn when it was revealed that Sarah's children, Jacob and Sarah, who were 3 and 2 years old at the time of her disappearance, were also missing. The investigation shifted focus to locating the children and unraveling the complexities of the case. Years passed without any significant breakthroughs, leaving Sarah's family and the investigators grappling with the mysteries surrounding her disappearance. The involvement of the FBI in this case exemplifies their commitment to unraveling complex and perplexing missing person cases, particularly when there are elements that go beyond the jurisdiction of local law enforcement agencies. These cases highlight the enigmatic nature of certain disappearances and the FBI's involvement when faced with peculiar circumstances or potential criminal elements. The FBI's resources, expertise, and jurisdictional reach play a crucial role in shedding light on these mysteries and bringing closure to the families of the missing individuals. As we continue to explore the realm of missing persons, we may uncover further instances where the FBI's involvement becomes instrumental in uncovering the truth behind these perplexing disappearances. Thank you for watching Missing Chronicles. We have explored captivating stories and searched for answers behind the vanished. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay updated with our latest videos. Share these videos to spread the message and assist affected families and loved ones. If you have any information related to the cases we've discussed, please leave them in the comments section. Together, we can make a difference. See you in the next Missing Chronicles.